Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. We are on episode 10 of Bungo Stray Dogs season 3, Cannibalism part 2. And oh my god, part 1 was pretty grim. I was like, oh buddy, Fyodor is not to be messed with. He has a plan. As we've seen, his whole plan is shaking the foundations and cores of these characters, especially poor Kunikida last episode, because Fyodor is interesting. I get he has that mentality of the antagonist that's like, I'm going to shape the world in my own image and make it all great. But I'm like, I see the flaws inherent in that. And Fyodor's problem is, as an antagonist, he's one of those villains that he thinks he's in the right, which is problematic because it seems like he's justifying everything that he does by thinking he's in the right. And so it's going to be hard. Like, talk no jutsu ain't going to work on Fyodor, right? Like, I would argue you could probably talk down, you could make Mori realize sensibility. Mori's like an anti-hero, really. He's a villain, but he's not. It's kind of odd. Mori, though, at the end of the day, Mori, though, cares about Yokohama. And you could probably do some talk no jutsu with Mori as long as there was a logical outcome with it, right? You could do Dazai logic on Mori and make it work. With Fitzgerald's whole thing is about finding the book so he can save his daughter. But at the end of the day, you could probably talk with Fitzgerald and reason with him. There's not much reasoning with Fyodor. It doesn't seem to be. Fyodor doesn't really care about Yokohama. He just cares about his own ideals. And it's kind of funny that we get Kunikida focused in the last episode with that girl dying and blowing herself up and Kunikida not being able to save him, because it's sort of like Fyodor is the realization of the Azure King's ideals. Like, his ideals have led him to this point. And Dazai warned Kunikida that if he followed his own ideals to that extent, it would get to that way. But that's interesting. So we haven't seen Katai yet. Katai is out of the picture. We've seen Koyo is watching over Mori. The president is seemingly safe with Lucy in Annie's little realm. And so I want the Port Mafia and the agency to work together to solve this problem, but I don't know how we can do that. I don't know how that's going to happen, but they need to work together. They really do, because otherwise they're just going to destroy each other. And where's the fun in that? So I keep thinking that the guild is going to get involved somehow. Some of you have noted that in the manga, Steinbeck has taken over the guild in America, which I theorized that, and that's interesting. I'm up to volume 7 of the manga right now, so I'm slowly whittling my way up. I'm in season 2 of the anime right now in terms of where the manga is. So I'm slowly whittling myself towards where we're at here. But I am planning on getting to that point in the manga, so that's exciting. But yeah, crazy times, right? I don't know how. Here's the thing. I feel like with other episodes of Bungo Stray Dogs, I could kind of see where it was going. With this, I don't know, because I didn't see the ability user not being the ability user in the last one. And the fact that even Rampo is kind of stumped by Fyodor is a problem. And Dazai's still in surgery. It's all in hell in a handbasket. I don't know how I feel about it. But we still have the guild that could help out in its own way. We still have Katai. Natsumi is somewhere in there. Him and that damn cat. They're somewhere in this picture, and they're mysteriously absent, especially when Mori and the president are involved. I'm like, really? It seems like Natsumi has been the one shipping the president and Mori together this whole time. So you just pieced out. I'm like, I'm just waiting for him to show up with that cat and just being like, here's what's going down. But yeah. I don't know. I was going to research Fyodor for this, but I was like, no, I'm going to wait. Because we haven't. I might wait till the next episode or the season finale to do Fyodor's total ability, because even now I'm like, what is his ability? I mean, we kind of get it, but I'm probably going to wait till the end of the season to research his ability just to be safe. But yeah, I don't know what we're going to do. Octagawa has been present looking after Hawthorne, but which Hawthorne, oh my god, his brain's been tinkered with too. It's like, so I don't know how they're going to deal with this. I'm very curious, so I guess we'll have to find out, won't we? But yeah, I'm glad that we're getting to the season finale. I don't know, we've got this episode and 2 more. I don't know what we're going to do and how we're going to resolve this in 3 episodes, if we even can, but I guess we'll find out, won't we? So yeah, let's do this, shall we? Cannibalism part 2. I get the feeling this is not going to be just a 2-parter. No way. No way, shape, or form. But anyway, let's start this, shall we? We're going to start episode 10 of season 3, Bungo Stray Dogs, here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. So yeah, I'm going back to the beginning of this. Oh my gosh. This episode's hard too, but man, it went by so quickly. It went by so fast, this episode. I really thought at the end there that Natsumi was going to come in and be like, hey guys, let's not kill each other. There's an alternative. But I don't know. I can't believe that they think Katai is dead. How? I'm like, you're just going to kill him off now? No way. There has to be something else. He can't be dead. But his body was gone. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. I'm like, no. I'm like, I want Mori and the president to kiss, not kill. Is that so hard? Okay, so the whole thing is that symptoms begin in 17 hours. So I guess that this whole thing leading up to them both being able to get up and move around was that the virus was setting in. And now the symptoms aren't going to quite appear until, at the end of this episode, until 12 hours. So they have basically half a day before they start to die. Great. So it's so frustrating because I'm with Atsushi on this. I'm with Atsushi 100%. The president gave you orders not to kill people. Just if you're just playing into Fjordor's hand, Fjordor wants you to destroy each other. So, because that'll make it easier for Fjordor if all of his problems are out of the way. So I'm with Atsushi and Kunikida that fighting the Port Mafia is not the answer. But Rampo's even stumped. He's like, we've tried to find the person in charge of the ability, and Fjordor's been one step ahead of us. So Rampo acknowledging that Fjordor has the upper hand on him is crazy, right? It's crazy. The fact that he's acknowledging that. I'm like, what now? It's pretty wild. So, I hate it though. I hate it. I just, so frustrating. I wondered how they were going to get rid of Chuuya in all of this. And I did not see Poe's ability coming in, which is a stroke of genius. But yeah, so Rampo saying that if we don't get somebody out of the way and stop the virus, then it's just going to be a killing spree. So we have to do something. And I get all of their motivations. Like I said in the reaction, Tanizaki is coming from the standpoint that he knows the Port Mafia is serious. They're going to try to kill all of them because they've reached that conclusion already. So Tanazaki's like, we got to fight fire with fire because they're going to come at us with everything they've got. So I don't agree with this line that he says, though, when he says at the end of the day, we only know how to protect people by hurting people. I don't like that line. It may be true in the sense of the show, but I don't like it. I'm like, because Atsushi's kind of proven the opposite. Atsushi has protected people without hurting them. Like, he's protected Kyoka, and they've managed to stop Fitzgerald and stuff without killing people. So Tanazaki's words I have a little bit of trouble with. I'm a little uncomfortable with those. I get where he's coming from. And Yasano, a bone to pick with Mori sensei. I'm like, what bone do you have to pick with Mori? I guess he's a doctor and she's a doctor. And his whole thing has been he's killed people and she's saved people. So I guess that's the bone to pick with him. I'm curious. I want to know in the manga if there's more with her and Mori. I'll be curious to see if we get more expansion on that. Maybe it's alluding to something in the manga that we don't see. Interesting. And Atsushi the whole time is like, guys, no! And Kyoka's like, I'm afraid. But Kyoka's like, I'll help the agency if I need to, even though I'm afraid of Mori. And Atsushi's like, really? Is everybody going? And of course, Kenji makes sense. Kenji's like, I'm going to go where my friends need help. And I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I'm going to help my friend if that's the path they're walking on. I feel so badly for Kunikida. Because Rampo asks, what about him? And Kunikida is the next president in line. If something happens to Fukuzawa, Kunikida is going to take his place. And he's saying he ordered us to protect the city's peace and stability. And his will is to protect the people from the city's demise brought on by Fjordor. Yeah, so it's... And then Rampo's like, are you going to bend the rules and go after the gifted then? And him like, if we break the rules, more innocent people will die. And that look on Kunikida's face, like that girl. If another death happens like that, yeah, how can he stand it? And then he gets to see Katai getting shot. Like, I feel so badly for Kunikida. And Rampo is exactly right when he says, you're the strongest and most virtuous of all of us in the agency. And of course, that's why the enemy tried to break you first. Yep, don't forget that. That's so true. It's just like in Batman and the Dark Knight, the Harvey Dent scenario, trying to break him first. It's so true. Like, you're the most virtuous, the White Knight. I like that he stays behind with that sushi, though. God, I feel so bad for Kunikida. And if his friend, if Katai's dead, I feel like Dazai needs to talk to Kunikida, but then I don't know. We got a lot in this episode. Quite a lot. Especially when it comes to... Akutagawa is getting softer and softer the more this series goes on, and I'm liking his character more and more. If you'd asked me in season 1 if I'd be all about Akutagawa, I'd be like, he's kind of a prick. But now I'm like, no. The more that gets revealed on Akutagawa, especially this season, I'm like, nah, there's more to him than that. If he'd just become friends with the weretiger, then it'd be all okay. But yeah, so I like that Rampo's like, look, I can't make you come with us at sushi, but I'll give you this. Katai was working on a way to fight Fyodor, so maybe go and see if he has any leads. And Rampo's like, and I like that Sushi recognizes, like, we're playing into Fyodor's hands, but I get why everybody's doing what they're doing. It's just, and Atsushi's like, I'll think of something. I just can't fight them. I like that Atsushi sticks to his guns. Like, he doesn't compromise his integrity and his beliefs. And I like that none of the others judge him for that. They're like, fine, we get that you can't go after the Port Mafia. We get it. But here, at least go after Katai or something. Do what you can, right? If Katai's dead, that's gonna suck that we just got him in this episode and that's it. Like in the one episode he was in, episode 5, and that's it. That's really sucks. I figured Katai would be like a central part in all this. Unless there's a fake out. Because here's the thing. They say that he's been erased, that he was killed. But it said he's been killed. But at the same time, we don't ever see Atsushi or Kunikida after that. So it could be that they're trying to fake out Fyodor in case if he's tapped the lines or something. I don't know. That sucks if Katai died and that's all we get to see of it. But we don't know the body. No body, no death, right? Right? Where's his body? If he disappeared. I'm assuming Natsumi maybe took him because the cat was hanging out at Natsumi's place. Did Natsumi turn Katai into a little fish and he's carrying around? Or did Natsumi have his cat turn him into a little fish and is carrying him around? Interesting. Is Natsumi the cat? I've been saying Natsumi and the cat are two different entities, but the more I think about it, and the OP, I'm like, can Natsumi turn into a cat? Like Professor McGonagall from Harry Potter? That'd be kind of interesting. I'd be like, has Natsumi been following everybody around like some dang Deus Ex Machina this whole time? Is that what we're getting at? That'd be kind of funny. I don't know. The more I see the stupid cat, though, I'm like, is it Natsumi? Is Natsumi the cat? I don't know. Either Natsumi can turn into a cat or the cat is working under Natsumi, or is it could be the cat is like Natsumi's ability, like Elise is Mori's ability. I guess we'll find out. I would like to think that the Port Mafia's budget, 90% of it is ammunition for these damn Port Mafia troops that can't shoot for shit. Because they wasted so many bullets with these sub-automatic machine guns. I'm like, dudes, half your budget must be going towards ammunition. Because it's like, as soon as you realized that it wasn't going to hurt Kinji, you probably should have stopped. You probably should have stopped, right? I also did not expect to see Rampo versus Chuuya. And the funny thing is, I'm watching Attack on Titan at the same time, and Chuuya's voice actor is Jean, and Rampo's voice actor is Levi. So it's like Levi versus Jean in this scene. It's kind of hilarious. But I was like, how are they going to deal with Chuuya? Because Chuuya is your problem. Chuuya is stronger than all of them. So what are you going to do? And I love that Fancy Hat Boy, the man with the hat, calling him the Fancy Hat Boy. I love it. I love that Rampo faces Chuuya. It's great. And I was like, how is Rampo going to fight him? Because he doesn't have an ability, right? And I love that he opens up his eyes when he talks to him. It's so good. But then I forgot about Poe. And Poe's ability is the novel, to trap them in the novel. So as far as we know, for the rest of, until something gets solved, Rampo and Chuuya are stuck inside Poe's book. And I love that he's like, what are you going to do to me? And Rampo's like, well, you've lost to Dazai. I've beat Dazai. So technically, or at least that's what it was implied. And Chuuya's like, you press the Dazai button, not having it. I love it. I love that that's how he lures him in. But yeah, so I'm so curious because the whole blanket thing and Kunikida goes after the secret footage and all of that to find out what happened. But I'm like, if we go get, but I'm kind of like, surely not. And I like Kunikida's like, I'm going to honor the girl that died's memory by going after Fjordor directly. And so, yeah, this just seems like, how did Katai not know? And how did he not know? And that doesn't even look like Fjordor. Like it does, but no. That doesn't seem right. Something's amiss. It doesn't seem right. Yeah, something doesn't add up. And the fact that we didn't see Kunikida and Atsushi for the rest of this episode, something doesn't add up. Yeah, there was more to the footage than that, right? I'm fully convinced. There's more to the footage. I also like that, and now we've switched to Higuchi, and Higuchi's like, a doll? Like, Annabelle, what is happening? I love that Akutagawa saves Higuchi. I love that Senpai saved Higuchi. I love it. Like him saving her, like she saved him back in season 2. I love it. But also, the whole conversation with Kyoka and Akutagawa was so good. I absolutely loved it because this show has been all about parallels of characters. And what I love in this episode that it's established, and we see it later with Motojiro, is that the President and Mori at the center of all this, the President and Mori are kind of the reason that these other characters have found agency and identity, is that they've given these stray dogs a place to live. Fukuzawa has given the agency to these others. Mori gave the Port Mafia for all that it is. The Port Mafia has given these characters a home and a purpose and a sense of identity. And in this episode, we see just how important that is for each of these characters and how much it's changed them. And I think the perfect example of that is Akutagawa and Kyoka. Like, they're excellent representation. Atsushi too. Atsushi is a representation of the president's side of how being in the agency has changed him. And then you see Akutagawa and Kyoka, and you get to see how their characters have changed as well. And I like the idea that Kyoka and Akutagawa have those parallels, because way back in season one, when Akutagawa first faced Kyoka or had her up on the ship, he was talking to her like he was projecting himself onto her, and we see that again in this episode brought back up. But before then, just Poe's ability. It cut back to Poe and Rampo trapping him in the book. And I just love it. I love that just right as Chuuya comes up, he's like, yoink, here we go. Do you like mystery novels? Oh my God. And then Chuuya's like, I can't get my fist out. There are 1,000 characters and half of them are murderers. Oh my God. If we don't die in this fictional world where we have no abilities, I'll see you when we get back. Like, oh my God. And I love that the Port Mafia is like, what just happened? And then the little music that comes in as Carl comes up and grabs the book and goes. They're like, did a raccoon just grab our boss and leave? Carl! I love it. Oh my God. That damn raccoon. I was so eager to write a good mystery novel for this game. I've been taken advantage of. Oh my God. the tale of the massacre will take the Port Mafia brass and even Rampo-kun several days to escape. So yeah, so it's good. They're going to be stuck in there. So by the time that Rampo and Chuuya get out, then this whole thing's going to be solved. So our key players, it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because on the one hand, Chuuya and Rampo are like your most dangerous players on each side. And so you need them. But at the same time, if you're doing an all-out war, they each need to be taken out of the picture. So that's interesting that both those characters are out of the picture. I wonder if we've only got 2 episodes left after this, though. So I don't think we're going to see what's in the novel happening with them, but I'm hoping the manga expands on what's happening with them in the novel, because that would be amazing. I want to see Rampo and Chuuya struggle with 1,000 characters and 500 of them being murderers to figure it out. I want to see that so badly. So maybe we'll get that. Maybe we'll get that. But yeah, but Poe's so happy with his novel that he's created and his stroke of genius. Perhaps both will die and I alone will stand in the glory of victory. But Poe doesn't want to just have them both die. And also, I was going to comment this on the reaction, but I think, isn't Poe's voice actor Ray from Free? Isn't it Ray? Because his laugh is ha ha ha. That sounds like Ray's laugh from Free, Iwatobi Swim Club. That sounds like his laugh. So that's what made me think that. I'm like, isn't that the same voice actor? Isn't the same one? But then, yeah, he gets all distraught. He's like, but what would I do with myself if Rampo-kun were to die? The shipping, y'all! The Rampo shipping is just heals my heart. I needed that in this episode, that wholesomeness, especially after all this going down. But yeah, the whole idea of Demon Snow versus Akutagawa, and the idea that Demon Snow has gotten strong enough where she can not be limited and held back by Akutagawa's Rashomon is interesting. And so, yeah, I love this confrontation between both of them, but the parallels of, it's like Dazai finding Akutagawa, Akutagawa finding Kyoka, Dazai finding Atsushi finding Kyoka. There's so many parallels there. And the idea that Akutagawa and Kyoka are not the same people that they were before because of the agencies, not only because of the agencies that they've joined, but because of the people within those agencies that they've come to care about. That's the thing, right? Because Kyoka has come to care about, Atsushi and the president and the others. She's come to care about them and develop these bonds with all of them as well, but also Koyo to an extent. And then Akutagawa has come to form these bonds with his sister, with Higuchi, still wanting notice from Dazai. Like it's all still there. I wondered whenever the president woke up if we would get, it's cutting back and forth, so I'm cutting back and forth in this discussion. I kept wondering if the president was going to talk on the microphone and explain what was going on and tell them to stop, but he doesn't. Instead, he goes to wherever Mori is. I guess so that they can duel it out and one of them can survive. But he seems genuinely shocked that Katai is dead, which is, I guess that's the impetus for him. Leaving, is that if Katai is dead, is on his watch, right? So he's like, nope, we need to stop this now before other members of the agency die. But I'm like, there has to be a third way. That's where I think Natsumi's coming in. I'm like, that damn cat, right? And then Motojiro showing up. Motojiro, his whole monologue about finding agency and purpose within the Port Mafia, being like, Mori has given me this identity and this freedom to live the life that I want to. And he's like, and I'll go down with him until the end. It's like, nah, yeah. Everybody, this whole episode is just establishing how Fukuzawa and Mori have given these characters a home and a sense of agency. And so, of course, they're going to fight for them until the end, which is why it's so frustrating that Mori and Fukuzawa are fighting each other at the end of this episode. So, yeah, but that imagery of when Akutagawa, I love the idea of him using the demon armor to stop the blade, but the idea that the look in her eyes has changed. And the look in Akutagawa's eyes have changed as well. Yeah, and so it goes back to when he first found her and she had that look in her eyes 4 years ago. The gifted who can cut anything. And yeah, and I love that it's him in front of the mosaic, just like when we saw Koyo with Chuuya and Q and Mori and Dazai. That seems to be the meeting place of where everybody goes to meet up in the Port Mafia. And she has that look in her eyes where she wants Akutagawa to kill her. to avenge her parents. And Octagawa's like, your eyes were filled with vengeance. And they reminded me, you saw no value in your own life. He's like, and I know someone that had the exact same look. And here's the funny thing in all of this. I knew a man who had the same eyes as yours. And here's the thing. I thought when he said that in the moment, he was referring to Dazai. Because we saw that in Dazai, when Dazai was with Mori the night that the former boss of the Port Mafia died. Dazai had that exact same look too. And he's not wrong. He did. But that he was referring to himself, right? And it's funny, there's a parallel there between Mori talking to Dazai back at the start of this season to Octagawa talking about Kyoka, about these characters having those relationships with each other. But that shot of Octagawa like in his peasant's clothes, and then there's Dazai on top of the rock with that gleam in his eye, that Dazai gleam, that Port Mafia look. And she said, what happened to that man? And he said, the same thing that happened to you. He met a certain person, joined a certain organization, and ceased to desire death. And it's the same thing with Dazai. Dazai joined a certain organization. He met Oda, he met Chuuya, and he no longer desired death. Atsushi was the same way, except he met Dazai, joined the agency, and no longer desired death. It's the same thing. It's like the two organizations are the same. So you can see the shadows paralleling on both Kyoka and Octagawa in that moment. And he says, I'm happy for you. That moment he says, I'm happy for you. I love it. I love how much Octagawa's grown in this series. It's so good. And neither of them can kill each other in that moment. Because if you think about it, Octagawa could have killed Kyoka in that moment. He could have. But he didn't. I feel like Octagawa and Atsushi are in similar veins in terms of what they're thinking at the time. Like, they're like, we don't need to destroy either side because it's not gonna do anything. And then Motojiro pulling 3 all-nighters, not wearing underwear to get all these bombs ready. Oh my god. Yeah. The theme of today's science experiment. And then, yeah, at the end of the day, I like this soft moment between Lucy and the president. And Lucy's like, I'm not in the agency, so I can't stop you from going, but where are you going? She's like, I took care of you, so you could at least give me that. Like, come on. And then him saying that I'm going to meet an old friend. And it's Mori. Ugh! And that's when she tells him that he's gone. And then Mori's gone too. And I think Hirotsu understands as well. Hirotsu understands that Mori's left to protect them as well. That he's got it. But where they go to, we don't know. And then so 5 hours have passed over the course of this episode. 5 hours have passed. And so it says virus symptoms are going to begin in 12 hours, so in half a day. Like, we've gone down from 2 days to half a day. Like, we were at the end point, right? Nope. And Haruna-san, Mi-chan hasn't been back for over 2 days now. So curious that cat's been gone for over 2 days. Damn it. And then Naomi's like, it's dangerous outside. You shouldn't go. Mi-chan's smart. When he doesn't come home, it's always because something bad's about to happen. Oh, fun! The attempted bombing at the police building. The illegal military activities before that. Oh! I have to remember something bad will happen to the president. Oh! Oh, I didn't even think about that! The cat was gone during all of that? Huh. Y'all have teased me with this cat this whole time, and don't spoil me, but if we don't get something out of that cat in the next 2 episodes, I'm going to be highly frustrated. I think that we're going to next episode, because they really... So is there a reason that she's watching the cat? I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious why she's been entrusted with the cat. She's caught on that something's connected. And nobody knows where the president's gone. But I'm glad that Dazai is called Tanizaki. And Dazai seems to have survived the surgery and everything, but he's still in the hospital. The president will have chosen somewhere we can't find him. Okay. So is Dazai What would that person do in a situation like this? This is that person. Ah! Renaissance cat. Yeah. Carrying the little fish in its mouth. So I'm wondering if Dazai's referring to by that person. I'm wondering if he's referring to Mori or referring to Oda. I'm assuming he's referring to Mori. Like, what would Mori do in this situation? And he's probably figuring out that he would go meet him up too. And maybe Dazai's putting 2 and 2 together. But so this little house with the mosaic windows, it's funny. It looks like a cross between the agency and the little mosaic hallway of the Port Mafia. So that's curious. I wonder if that's intentional. But yeah, this little house that seems abandoned. Huh. Where they grew up. Is this like Professor Xavier's home of the gifted? Is Natsumi Professor X, basically? Because it seems like Mori and Fukuzawa grew up here. Our fated place known to neither the agency or the Port Mafia. It seems like their fated meeting place they grew up at. This is the only place they could meet. I had faith that you would come. And then I like that Fukuzawa was like, "Did you bring your subordinates?" He's like, "No, that would have just caused a war if I did. It's just the 2 of them." The 2 of us duel 1-on-1. With the clock in the middle? Damn it. And stop the cannibalism with the death of whoever loses. We have so much more to protect now, don't we? It's been 10 years after all. So, okay, so they've... 8 years ago, Mori took in charge of the Port Mafia. So him and the president knew each other 2 years prior to that. So I'm assuming they both went their separate ways to start their own agencies or work up towards that, right? And this is where it's led to. And now they both realize that they both want to protect Yokohama in their own way. But they also have all these members now to protect as well. It's not just the agency, it's all the members within it too. Yeah, since we fought together. So they fought together. Yeah, they worked together. No, I want them to be together, not to destroy each other. No, my ship. Why are you trying to hurt yourself? And then, yeah, so Elise, I thought he was going to throw Elise, but he's not. She just looks like a nurse. So I'm like, is she going to fight Fukuzawa then? No. I don't want it. So yeah, I want Natsumi to come in at the start of this episode. I want Natsumi to come in and break them up. This damn cat's taking its time to figure stuff out. What a tease. I'm glad Dazai's awake, so maybe Dazai can work behind the scenes to help them. Now that he's awake, I don't know what we're going to do. We've only got the next episode and the episode after that, right? Maybe Dazai can help them find the leader, the one with the ability, and get them to stop. Maybe that can be the case. Maybe Natsumi can come in. I'm like, where the heck is Natsumi going? Where is Natsumi? Is Natsumi the cat? If Natsumi is the cat, then where is it going with the damn fish? Why is it taking its sweet time? I don't know. Here's the thing. We don't know Natsumi's ability. Is Katai actually dead? We don't know. So many questions. And we still have 2 episodes. But only 2 episodes! I'm not ready for the show to end, I'll be honest. I'm really not, because I've really gotten into this arc, and I can't believe we're reaching the end of Bungo Stray Dogs. It's insanity to me. I can't believe it, but we've still got Juan to go through, but I'm not ready, y'all. And I've still got the manga to read too, so at least there's that. And the light novels, so at least there's that. But y'all, I don't know. I don't know, but I guess we'll find out, right? So I'm curious to know your thoughts on this episode, what y'all thought as well. Thank you all so much for watching this reaction. I hope you enjoyed it. But yeah, next episode's episode 11. And I guess we'll see. I don't want Mori and Fukuzawa to fight. I don't want Fukuzawa. I don't want them to fight. I don't want Katai to be dead. And I want them to find a way to stop Fyodor. And I don't know how that's going to happen. So very curious to see what's going to happen next. But in the meantime, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back next week with episode 11 of Bungo Stray Dogs. Bye.